बीच बीच में आ गया. Hello, I'm Dr.Chatterjee is talking about the drugs of ammonium Mur. Okay, the ammonia is a medicine. Ammonium carbonicum, ammonium Mur. These are the medicine which is included in the homeopathic mathematica. The ammonia formula is NH4Cl, and the ammonium medicines which is used in case of ammonia carbonicum, we have seen there are the constitution, as per the constitution concerned, there are so many diseases can be cured. We are not mentioning the name of the disease. The sphere of actions of the ammonium Mur is to some extent different rather than the ammonium carbonicum. Ammonium carbonicum usually affects of the most of the respiratory tract, urogenital tract, respiratory tract, urogenital tract, and other parts of the body. So it affects the mucous membrane, increasing the secretion and retaining them, especially in chest and gall duct. It causes irregular circulation, blood seems to be constant turmoil, and thereby producing evolutions, burning and localized throbbing. Ammonium, it has also marked action on liver and female genital organs. It causes ulceration and ulcerative pains, also dislocation like pain and tension as if tendons are contracted. So this medicine is mostly useful in these cases. Ammonium carbonicum affects the respiratory tract and heart. It affects the urogenital organs, it affects the genes, all the mucous membrane and so on. Increasing secretions and retaining to the chest and the gall ducts. And besides this, if we find it, if there is any conditions which is produced, that is the therapeutically anosmia, hemorrhoids, leukorrhea, menstrual disorders, cough, coryza, diarrhea, constipation, bronchitis, and so on. So, ammonium carbonicum also affects to other organs. Even there is action on the heart, the irregular beats, where the peripheral circulation disturbed as a result of edema is found there. If we find in the constitutions, it is specially adapted to those who are most fat and sluggish person. In ammonium carbonicum, I have found that those who are the fat, fleshy, and strong, stout, and sluggish body in general, it is to be shared. These people are mostly prone to ammonium carbonicum or ammonium Mur. So body is large fat, but legs are here. The legs are too thin. Upper part of the body becomes fatty, fleshy, and lower part is mostly thin. Women having large buttocks. So, on seeing the characters, feature of the ammonium group, you understand the peculiar constitution of the particular drugs. Temperament, the melancholic and disposition to tears, melancholic temperament and disposition to tears. So they are always tearing relations with the heat and cold. The chilly patient, miasm, sodic and syphilitic miasm is there. So the signs and symptoms will be produced accordingly. Chilly patient, they are usually highly chilly. That's why their complaints usually aggravation due to the cold in any form. If we see the features, that is the guiding features, guiding symptoms, both large body becomes fatty and large and legs are too thin. That is a very important feature of the ammonium carbonate. The upper part of the body is fat, flabby, fleshy, and lower part of the body is emaciated. So the triangle, if you see the triangles, so if the triangles is to be, the peak is to be put downwards and the base is to be upwards, so the feature will be like this. So it is a very peculiar constitution of the ammonium carbonate. The body large and fat, but legs are too thin. This is a very uncommon peculiar symptoms of the drugs. Symptoms accompanied by cough and profuse glaring secretions. Okay. The diarrhea and vomiting, even diarrhea and vomiting are there, and there is the bloody discharge from the bowels during menstruations. So, if there is any bloody discharge and diarrhea from the and vomiting, bloody discharge from the bowels during menstruation, it is a very important symptoms of the drugs. Next number, if you see ammonium carbonicum, this type of symptoms is present in case of the ammonium carbonicum, and veratrum album, pulsatilla, with flow more profuse at night. And if we see the picture with profuse flow more at night, ammonium carbonicum का ammonium mur usually affected with these organs, especially the urogenital organs and so on. The leukorrhea, like white of an egg, in case of ammonium mur you find the leukorrhea is there, like that of white an egg. This is very uncommon peculiar symptoms of the drugs. Alumina is there, borax is there, calciferous is there, and preceded by griping pain about the navel is there. So leukoral pain with griping pain about the navel region is very important. The leukorrhea sometimes becomes brown, slimy, painless after every urination. So like other salts of the chloride, it has crumbling from verge of the anus. So the salts, the stools becomes hard, knotty and crumbling, and at the verge of the anus, natrium is there, magnesium is there, all the mur group producing this type of symptoms. There is a crumblings and the stool becomes knotty, hard, and comes out like the seed dung, which is present in case of the natrium, which is present in case of the magnesium and graphite is like this. There are great efforts for the expulsion of the during expulsion it has to require coragia, discharge is very thin, watery, acrid, corroding the inside of the nostrils and the upper lip. So, in case of ammonium carbonicum, when the discharges usually comes out, it becomes acrid and it corrodes the nostrils and upper lip. The medicine is the allium civa, arsenic album and arsenic iodide. Sensation of coldness in the back between scapula, it is also another symptoms of the drugs. Lagnanthesis, very important. Another thing, the tension is in the joints as from shortening of the muscles. So the joints are becomes shortened, tensed, and contraction of the hamstring muscles is very important. Contraction of the hamstring muscle is very important. The piles, especially after suppressed leukorrhea, piles especially after suppressed leukorrhea, this is also another characteristic symptoms. Burning and stinging in the rectum for hours after stool, this is also another characteristic symptoms. So burning in rectum like the capsicum is to some extent present. The piles especially after suppressed leukorrhea. So other medicines are also there. If this type of symptoms is present, we can think of the ammonium mur, also capsicum. Next is there is the burning which remains hours after the stools. There is offensive sweat of the feet, Mild. She is mostly the females are mostly melancholic, morose, ill-humored, with irritability and disposition to be angry. Melancholic, morose, ill-humored, with irritability and disposition to be angry. She has antipathy to certain persons, which is very peculiar to herself. Full of grief, with desire to cry but cannot. Full of grief, but desire to cry but cannot. Elements from suppressed leukorrhea. Respiratory symptoms. Nose are very thin, watery, acrid, thin, watery, acrid, and hot discharges corroding the inside of the upper lip, and so on. There is loss of smell with obstructed, stuffy feeling and desire to blow it out. Cough is very dry, hacking, but loose in afternoon, with profuse expectorations and rattling of the mucus. There may be hoarseness and burning in the larynx is there. Hoarseness and burning in larynx. Modality, aggravation by lying on back or right side. Concomitant, cough with profuse salivation and liver symptoms and other symptoms accompanied by the cough. So, cough accompanied so many symptoms that is very present in case of the ammonium carbonicum. Again, if you see the peculiar characteristics of the ammonium mur, the constitution, you will find in our college one student is there. The student which is from the Gujarat is studying in the second year. The boy is the peculiar characteristic symptoms and constitution of the ammonium mur. Upper part fatty, flabby, fleshy, and lower part is emaciated. Next, rectal symptom, constipation. Like other muriates, ammonium mur patients is usually constipated. Like other muriates, ammonium mur patient is usually constipated. There is crumbling from the verge of the anus. Hard, crumbling stools require great effort in expulsions. So stools were very in color. No two stools are alike, pulsatillar, and covered with glaring mucus. No stools are alike and covered with glaring mucus. Okay, these are the very characteristic symptoms. Pulsatillar also is there, even sometimes photophylum, mercury, and so on. The hemorrhoids, it can be thought of in pines, especially after suppressed leukorrhea. So hemorrhoids, it can be thought of in pines, especially after suppressed leukorrhea. Hemorrhoids, sore and smarting. There is burning and stinging in the rectum during and for hours after stool. So hemorrhoids can be thought of in such conditions. Sore and smarting. There is burning and smarting and stinging in the rectum during and for hours after stool. Sculus and sulfur is there. Female genital organs. Menstrually too profuse and blood is black and controlled. Flow more at night. Concomitant during menses. Hemorrhage from the bowels or rectum with cholera-like symptoms. Ammon Mur. So there is so many symptoms which are similar to the ammonium carbonicum. It has a pain in abdomen and small of the back during menses. The ammonium carbonicum, like the symptoms, bovista and veretum album. The leukorrhea, which is liquid and often like that of an egg, prescribed by griping pain about the navel. There is also painless discharge of brown, slimy mucus, especially after every urinations. So there are also painless diarrhea, discharge of brown, slimy mucus, especially after every urinations. General modalities, aggravations, morning, head and chest symptoms, afternoon, abdominal symptoms, amelioration open air, followed by anticrude, phosphorus, pulsatilla and sanicular, antidotes, coffea, nux, and causticum. So, if we see in details, this is to some extent basic character of the ammonium carbonicum and ammonium Mur. Ammonium carbonicum is more vast than the ammonium Mur. If we in general see the total picture of the ammonium Mur, then we will find lots of symptoms: epicularity, a state of prostration bordering on a typhoid state produced by this remedy. All mucus secretions are increased and retained. It is specially adapted to fat and sluggish patient who have respiratory troubles, coughs associated with catarrh, and affections of the liver, a tendency of irregular circulations. Blood seems to be in constant turmoil pulsation. Many group of symptoms are accompanied by cough, profuse gland secretions. Its periods of aggravation are peculiarly divided as to the bodily region affected. Thus, the head and chest symptoms are worse morning, the abdominal in the afternoon, and pains in the limbs. The skins are febrile symptoms in the evening. That is the boiling sensations. If we see the mind in general, they are the melancholic, they are the apprehensive, like from internal grief and desire to cry. So, but cannot, constantly affecting the grief. Head, hair falls out with itching and dandruff, feels full and compressed, worse mornings. Okay. So, All hairs usually fall out. There is itching and dandruff. Arsenic is there, phosphorus is there, and some other drugs is there. Acid phos is there, and so on. So, if we see the eyes, mist before the eyes, mist, dhwaka sound. Optical illusions in incipient cataract, optical illusions in incipient cataract, capsular cataract. So, there is an illusions, incipient cataract and capsular cataract. If you see the nose, what will find there? Free acrid, hot watery discharge, corroding from the lip, sneezing. So, if it is seen, that is the nose sore and touch, ulcerative pain in the nostrils, loss of the smell and obstructed, stuffy feelings, constant unavailing efforts to blow it out and itching. Usually, ammonium carbonicum, ammonium mur, arsenic iode, helium sipa, all have the discharges are very much acrid, corroding the lips, upper part of the lips, and there is a sneezing sensation. If we see along with it, there is the smell of the small loss of the smell, obstructed and stuffy feelings. Inflammatory, face ache, mouth and lips are there. That the lips are sore and excoriated. Throat, throbbing in and swallowing or tonsil. So throbbing of the tonsils is very important. Can scarcely swallow, sore spot behind the uvula, relieved by eating, internal external swellings of the throat with viscid phlegm. So touch, it cannot be hopped up. Tonsillitis. Stricture of the uvula. The ammonium carbonicum medicine, it is also affecting the nose, the throat, the eyes, the mucous membrane and all other parts. Along with that, the tonsillitis and so stricture of the esophagus and so on. Stomach, thirst for the lemonade, regurgitation of the food, bitter water brush, nausea, gnawing in the stomach, epigastric pain immediately after eating, cancer of the stomach, abdomen, splenic stitches, especially in the morning, with difficult breathing, pain around the navel, abdominal symptoms appear during pregnancy, chronic congestion of the liver, excessive fatty deposit around the abdomen, much flattish, strained filling the groin. So, abdomen is very important. There is stitching, splenic irritations with difficult breathing, and there is the pain in the navel region mostly. There is the congestion of the liver, excessive fatty deposit around the abdomen and around the waist, with much flattish, strained filling in this abdominal region. The rectum usually mostly itching and hemorrhoids, soreness with pustules, hard crumbled stools are covered with the glary mucus, stinging perineum, green mucus stools alternate with the constipations. During and after stool, burning and smarting in the rectum, hemorrhoids after suppressed leukorrhea. So, hemorrhoids after suppressed leukorrhea. This is very important symptoms of distress. The green mucus alternate with the constipation, during after stool and burning, smarting pain in rectum. The females, menses too early, too free, dark and clotted, flow more at night, pain as if sprained in left side of the abdomen during pregnancy. So, diarrhea, greenish mucus stool, and navel pain during the menses, leukorrhea, like white of an egg, albumin, borax, and calciferous. Leave with a white leg of an eel. Alumina, borax, calciferous, with pain about the navel, brown, slimy after urinations. These are very important symptoms of the drugs. Respiratory system, hoarseness and burning in larynx, dark hawking, scraping cough, hoarseness and burning in the larynx, with dark and scraping cough, worse lying on back or right side, stitches in the chest, cough loose in the afternoon, with profuse expectorations, rattling of the mucus. These are very important. An operation of the chest, burning at small spots in chest, scanty secretions, cough with profuse salivations. That is very important. Cough with profuse salivations. Back, icy coldness between the shoulder. This is also another symptoms. Not relieved by the warm coverings. Followed by itching, bruise pain in the coccyx when sitting, backache as if in a vice when sitting. If we see the extremities, the peculiar symptoms of the extremities are there. Pain as from the ulceration of the fingers. Ulceration of the fingers as if pain, especially extremity. Shooting and tearing pain, tips of the fingers and toes. So these parts are actually mostly affected, the fingers and the toes. Ulcerative pain in the heels, contraction of the hamstring muscle and tendons. Sciatica is there, worse sitting, better bending. Neuralgic pain in amputated parts. So neuralgic pain in amputated part, that is very important. Hypertension is also there. Ammonium need is there. Offensive feet sweat. Pain in feet during menses. Skin itching. Generally, evening, there is the blisters forms on various parts. Intense burning, pain, better by the cold applications. So skin itching, generally evening. Blisters on the various parts of the body, intense itching and better by the cold applications, fever, chilliness, evening, after the lying down and on awakening. Awakening without the thirst, chilliness with the thirst, heat in palms and the soles, like the sulfur. That is the subacute and low fever due to the unhealthy climate. So during these unhealthy climates, we can consider these drugs. And the lowest potency is very important. Lowest potency is very important in these cases. If we see the modalities, better, open air, and the worse head and chest symptoms in the morning or complaints aggravation in the morning, like the Kali proof. Then the abdominal symptoms usually aggravation in the afternoon, aggravation symptoms in the afternoon. And relationship, antidotes by the coffee, nux, and causticum. So if coffee is in general, it will be antidoted, nux is also antidoted, and also causticum. Compare calciricum, Seneca, and causticum. The calciricum of the patient is mostly, the constitution is very important. Ammonium carbonate and calciricum constitution very similarity is there. The calciricum with fatty flabby fluid, this is also like this, but in case of the calciricum, they have the barrel separate. Whereas in case of the ammonium mur, the constitution is upper part is fatty flabby fleshy, while the lower part is that is the simple and emaciated. The Seneca is a good medicine for the cases of the female problem and then respiratory distress. But Seneca is mostly useful in case of the old people having the respiratory distress. Causticum symptoms is also useful The posticum patient also very much mentally, they are very peculiar, very and complaints relieved by cough is relieved by taking cold. Sternum meticum, posticum, pulsita, they are relieved by cold. That is very cupra metallicum, relieved by cold water. Cold drinks is very important. Okay, thank you. The lower potency is 6 and 30. Okay, completed. Thank you.